Hey folks, and welcome back here to Flexline Productions as we continue to bring you coverage of the 30th Annual City of Mobile Championships. We're with our lead card in the second round, and we made it to the back nine here at Langan Municipal Park. Once again, I am Dustin Mouret, and once again joining me, one of our top local pros is JC Rohe. How's it going, sir?
It's going great. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed, and of course a big shout out to all of our sponsors who help make this event coverage possible. We'll be talking about them more throughout the broadcast, and let's catch you up to speed here on the scores.
Yeah, we got MattyO here at 20 down. He had a perfect front nine. Joel Freeman, not really hot on the putting green. Kind of get that back up. Then we got Kevin Kiefer. He's been on Matt's tail, but lost a few strokes. And then rounding that out is Parker. We move into hole 10, par 3, 395 feet. Pure hyzer the whole way. Some players may elect to go forehand, but it's a very tight gap. Should be a pretty routine shot for these guys.
Yeah, this is going to be Orbit Rive, or no, this is Enforcer, excuse me, out of the hand of MattyO, just playing something overstable over the parking lot and trying to get near the green. And well, he got very near the green.
That'll be a putt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, playing that up high like that gives it enough time to get left and finish right on the basket.
Yeah, it probably requires a little over 400 feet of power to be able to get to this pin, just because of the line you have to take, and well, Parker's got that covered.
Yeah, that's not bad. I thought it was going right. Good shot.
Yeah, Parker played around a little bit with the power pole there. That's one of the only obstacles in the way. You definitely want to push this past that holly bush down there as well. I believe this is probably, what, a PD2 from Joel?
This is his PD2, yes. One of the old M.A.D.G.A ones, and yeah, very overstable, and he's got plenty of power to get up there. Gets to skip you once and everything, so great lie.
Definitely a turnaround from the front nine.
Yeah, but now we got Kevin Kiefer taking the tee. This is his defender, so something a tick more overstable than the Rives that he would maybe throw for max distance.
Yeah, it's looking like it's a Biofusion one, so maybe be able to get a little flip up with it also.
Puts it on the similar line to the rest of the crew, and it was looking pretty good. Oh my goodness!
That is a sick ace.
It's a pure one too, man. It's a skip. There ain't nothing overthrown about that one. I mean, that was exactly what he wanted. Got the great ground action, but he got gifted something a little bit more than he bargained for.
Man, and he's running that down.
You got to. He was the last person on the tee box too, so I mean, no harm, no foul in running this one down. That'll help you gain a couple of strokes back on MattyO.
One here, yeah.
It's wild this has happened. We had Sullivan Tipton hit an ace on a hole we'll see a little bit later last year at this tournament, and now Kiefer joins the club and getting an ace at the City of Mobile Championships.
Go, dude! Yes, sir!
Yeah, if you told me somebody aced a hole out at Municipal Park, I would not think it'd be this one. If you didn't check our front nine, there's a lot of sub 300-foot holes. A 400-foot hole, that's a solid ace.
Let's go, baby.
Shows you the defender there. And everyone has to kind of just settle back in and get these putts going.
Hopefully Parker doesn't get big putted here.
Oh no.
Unfortunately does. I wasn't trying to jinx him from the future.
Yeah, but got a couple of tap-ins for birdie here for Freeman and MattyO. Parker looking to just take the par here, but...
And yeah, left a little work there.
Yeah, you're right. A little meat still left on the bone on this one for sure. Slight tester.
Almost a similar putt to what he just had to calm the nerves and throw that in the basket.
Yeah. So, Freeman up next here. Had a couple of putting lows on the front nine worth noting, but good to see him get kind of just an easy one there. Get his back nine started.
Yeah, this is definitely a good one to get. It's not necessarily a bonus get, but you definitely can par it easily. Unless you're Matt here.
You park it.
All right, y'all. Sign it up.
That's great to see there. Most guys, most pros, they're at this point, they're just like, whatever, another ace. But I do like to see the tradition continue going.
I think for him, it was like the first time in a while that he got one in a tournament, and so that's why it felt special to him. And it was a great shot as we get into hole 11.
Yeah, hole 11 is a combination of two typical holes on Municipal Park. Par 4 it plays as 770 feet. You're really trying to push a shot as far as possible off the tee, and then you have to find a gap into the green.
I would say this is the first hole that you reach on this course where birdie is not necessarily like a guarantee. We've talked about how this course kind of plays as a birdie or die style course, but I feel like this is the first hole you hit that could pose some problems.
Right. You have OB with the ditch left and OB with the street right, so those definitely can come to play on the second shot.
And Kiefer able to calm himself down a little bit there and throw a good arrive shot into a good space, so he should be fine. And MattyO throwing old Julio Jones here, his orbit drive.
Yeah, these guys are playing a little wider than I expected it, but there probably is a gap over there that I'm not aware of.
It's kind of two philosophies off this tee on this combined hole. You can either play it to the next tee box and just kind of play the rest of the hole the way that the normal hole 11 would be played, but there are, the options to go out a little bit more wide right and have some lanes up to the green.
Joel just sneaking around that pine tree right there. He should have a gap as well up there.
Yeah, I think it sets up for a forehand approach on that side. And Kiefer, he's still amped up a little bit, trying to get on, but we got Parker Welck here still.
Yeah, Parker said, I did pay to play. I'd like to throw my shot.
He's playing pretty darn well, so choosing to go backhand here. He is kind of playing that more traditional play towards the other tee box.
Yeah, hopefully, some of that spot over there tends to be a little soft, so hopefully he's got good footing.
Yeah, I mean, we did just have rain before this round started, too. Actually, this round was delayed 45 minutes if you didn't catch the front nine. So, yeah, it is a little bit sloppy out there.
Parker's calling it for it to hit something. That green is real fast to the left, so that ditch will come into play, but I think he stayed in bounds.
Yeah, there's a little bit more room there than you can kind of see sometimes that'll kind of catch your disc and keep it out of the ditch, but it's definitely possible. The only other thing you need to worry about is overturning it to this road to the right.
As we see Kevin doing just that, plays it, and it's going to be a pretty far putt back for his par save.
Yeah, I mean, that was an overstable approach disc, his harp, so maybe a little bit of wind caught it and kind of overturned it. So, yeah, he's going to be paying a penalty as Freeman looking for the forehand, and he's not liking it. That's kind of sarcastic cheering.
I thought he really loved it.
No, I mean, that's kind of the way that he chooses to cope with mistakes. And, I mean, hey, everybody has their way of handling it.
Yeah, Matt here with a straight-on gap. He's playing a little right. Comes up a little short, but that'll be a look. Kind of have to play between the trees there.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful shot. Gorgeous.
Unfortunately, he meets the pine there, so he's got a little bit more work to do than he wanted.
Yeah,
he's already been kind of slipping behind, so you feel like it's kind of compacting at a certain point.
Yeah, it's a bunch of mental errors at that point. Parker giving a long bid, but I'll have to settle for the par.
Ooh, almost found the par save there.
So that'll be Kevin's first bogey of the round.
Wow, nice.
Tough to follow up an ace with that, but
Just like aim a little lower than.
I think you want to aim higher, actually.
I think he's probably laying that up. He didn't want to push it too long.
And this was for MattyO to try to keep up the pace for a perfect round, and so he will find his first par of the round.
Parker able to clean that up nicely. That's a good par to get. I mean, you probably only had a few birdies on this hole. It does require a good bit of power and accuracy at the same time. Par feels good here.
Yeah, you have to hit a really nice approach shot. That's a pretty lengthy one to have a chance to birdie this hole. It's a tight green, as you said, between this ditch and road as well. So usually are not going to lose any strokes with the car.
Unfortunately, Kevin loses 1, 2, both Matt and Parker here with the bogey, as does Joel. And that bumps us into hole 12. That hole that you were previously referring to was Sullivan Tipton's ace. He threw a forehand. Most players are probably going to throw in a backhand here. That's the most open gap. You can play a skip up with this fast green to give you a nice, easy putt.
Yeah, I think Parker Welck will be the only person I would anticipate maybe throws a forehand here, but probably backhand for everyone. And
definitely got the power for that. Threw a mash in the front 9.
Yep. This is Enforcer here for MattyO. Just looking to play that line you were discussing.
Yeah, boy. Do it. One time.
Yeah, from our angle, it looked like it had a chance, but just a touch short, but still an easy birdie probably.
Yeah, this hole plays very similar to hole 9 as well, so similar distance, similar shape.
Yeah, good shot, Parker.
And Parker kind of just following the vapor trail to MattyO there, puts himself under the bucket. This was a Pioneer from Kiefer, so overstable 9-speed.
Very surprised not to see him go back with that defender and knows how to find the chains. Probably just a bit too much disc for this.
Yeah, and this is, I think, that same PD2 here for, and that is an early
we're
release.
On a whole new level now. This is awesome.
Yeah, it
At least he
normally-
stays in bounds.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
mean,
it doesn't normally come into play, but that sidewalk to the left is out of bounds, so definitely flirting with it.
Yeah, good bid. Very solid.
And this is just one of those courses where, again, you
Give
feel
it a
like you
chance.
should be birdieing most of them, and you know that the field is, and so then it really starts kind of, you know, if it rains, it pours kind of situation, you know what I mean?
Everything starts sinking in that, oh man, I've missed my last 4. You know, so Kevin able to connect with that one.
That's a poop.
Such an enthusiastic guy.
I love Kevin Kiefer, man. He's such a great positive attitude to have around on a card. He kind of just lifts everyone else up. And you never really see him get, like, angry when something goes wrong, so great guy. As we see Parker get his birdie.
Yeah, we had Kevin go right, Parker a little left, Matt dead center from 10 foot. So
Yeah, starting to kind of build up back to that 3-stroke lead.
Joel taking his time, going through the routine. Love to see it.
Just got to make sure that thing goes in there. Let it taste the chains.
And now a word from our sponsors. Saraland Pharmacy and Disc Golf Store can provide you everything you need to enhance your game. Check out their wide variety of discs and disc golf accessories in store. New products are also posted regularly on their Facebook page. All right, guys, and that brings us to hole 13. A par 3, 310 feet. This hole is more commonly referred to as the airplane hole, as you see the airplane.
Why? Why would it be called that?
On this hole, you have OB deep. That airplane barricade is out of bounds, and you have a low ceiling that you have to push under, as Matt does so here.
Perfectly.
Yeah, that's really how you draw it up.
Yeah, the one other thing that can happen is you could maybe short it a touch and wind up inside that bush on the corner, which can give you a very tricky situation to try to still get your birdie.
Parker kind of flirting with that bush maybe, but slides past it and parked.
Yeah, both those discs are in the bullseye, so birdies should be acquired soon by both those players. Kiefer trying to still keep up some momentum after the ace just a couple of holes ago and a birdie on the previous hole. I think this is that new overstable disc from Latitude. I think it's called the Savior.
Okay.
So it's just like a more overstable version of a heart, but this actually floats up more than I thought it would.
Put a good move on that and finds the asphalt there. That is not necessarily part of the sidewalk or road, so we'll see how they play that out.
Right? So we are going to see a really nice line taken here by Freeman. That's going to lead him up to the green for a chance at birdie.
Yeah, he didn't get quite the skip left he probably wanted. Hit kind of a soft spot in the sand.
So we did have a situation where a provisional was played at this moment because, again, there was some asphalt, but it wasn't technically a part of the road. It just kind of bled into the fairway. And so this is his attempt. If it were to be in bounds, then he would have a birdie.
So what do you guys think? Like literally right here?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, basically where his disc was at would be the meter off the road, you know, if it was indeed considered out of bounds. And so this would be a putt for par, essentially, if it is ruled OB.
That's right.
You
Let's
really
hope it's
just
the
hope
one with-
that it's considered inbounds, which it is. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yes. We did make a call to the TD, and he confirmed that, yeah, that spillover asphalt is indeed not the road. It is just asphalt that spills into the fairway, so it's no problem. So
Oh wait, is this?
this putt winds up being for nothing, and he gets a birdie in the hole.
Wow, I'm really being controversial on this hole.
He's having a good spirit about it, though. It's kind of one of those situations where we were all pretty confident that it would be called inbounds, but we just had to make sure. And so, just the rule, you know? Just make sure you take your provisionals if there's any question.
So we have Joel here for should be a pretty routine birdie.
Oh, no. That's rude.
Rains and pours, huh?
I can't even blame Freeman for that one.
I was literally about to say the same thing. He's having some putting woes, finally gets a good connection on the basket, and it rejects it.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that you can't believe sometimes.
Parker verifying his stays in the basket.
Yeah. And there's Matt tapping in his birdie as well, keeping the lead building. It's funny now, but I'm sure at that moment that he was wrestling with it mentally, and he definitely didn't deserve that stroke.
So now we move on to the train hole, hole 14, par 3, 376 feet. We're passing over the short pin here, going to the long pin. Most players are probably going to throw in a backhand turnover or maybe a forehand and just trying to keep it under those limbs.
MattyO going with the flow turnover here.
Oh!
Winds up hitting the fence, actually, that guards the, I'm going to call it a locomotive, just to be controversial.
Oh, we gotta go.
I was actually surprised not to see Parker play the flex forehand, considering his game, but, I mean, feels confident with the backhand, so why not?
Yeah, the backhand, the issue with that is you have to throw a kind of a faster disc, and if you don't commit to the shot, you can definitely have them filter out to the road, which places out of bounds.
Boom, sucker fresh.
Sir. Beautiful turnover here from Kiefer.
Kevin looked like he went mid there.
He did.
It's impressive.
Yep. So this is the flex forehand play here from Freeman. There are a couple of trees on the left-hand side that you do have to miss, though, to kind of get the line you need.
Oh yes.
Get under, get under, get under. You would, dude. You freaking would. Even when
Inches
I throw
from
good shots,
being what
I
he
still
needed.
suck.
Yeah, that ceiling is real thick, so most discs, if they come in contact, are not going to fight through.
Parker just getting it up there for the par. And again, I would say this is like the next hole after, 11 that it's not, kind of a guaranteed birdie, so to speak, for the pro field.
All right, Matt just pitching up nicely. I'm assuming he stayed in bounds.
Yes.
Dude, you could at least get it to the basket. That would help. That would help you.
I mean, it is progress. He did touch the basket, so,
Joel's doing a lot of our work for us here.
yeah. Oh.
Just a little left, but those catch about 50% of the time, and that would have been a really good one to get. But unfortunately, not.
Yeah, it would have been a chance to gain a little bit of ground on MattyO on the leaderboard for Kiefer, who's down by 3 strokes, and for now just kind of remain that way.
So we have a par frame on hole 14. No harm, no foul there. Tough hole.
And it doesn't really get any easier when it comes to birdieing holes on this next one.
Yeah, hole 15 is a doozy. Par 3, 407 feet. You have a ditch that runs along the middle of the fairway that plays out of bounds. It is roped off, so you can't even really tell if you're in or out from the tee box. Most players are probably going to be pitching off to the left to give themselves about a 30-foot putt, but you do have the option for a forehand as well.
And I can tell you right now, MattyO was indicating that he was laying up when I was talking to him, and this is the layup play here. Just stall, overstable, get yourself across the ditch and set up your upshot.
Very surprising that he didn't at least play, just a little more right to give himself a look. But, I mean, you're up 3 strokes. You've got some room to play with, I guess.
Yeah, because really the only way to attack this green would be either A, a flex forehand for the right-handed player, B, you try to crash through the trees on the right-hand side and hope you plinko to the green and not into the OB ditch, or maybe you flex something overstable just right up the gut.
Parker catching a little bit of the Magnolia, but able to fight through.
The tree's been friendly to me.
Probably about a 60-foot look.
Kiefer kind of following a similar line.
Pushing it past the Magnolia, though, which is but catching the next Magnolia and unfortunately kicking down into that ditch.
And we'll have to see in a second if that line's in or out of the line. And Freeman looked like he's going for that flex forehand play I was talking about. We saw Sullivan tip to do it last year to really good effect.
Yeah, it shapes up well for it. You just throw a forehand out over that Magnolia and have it fight back in.
Yeah, it was a Halo Firebird, which you would expect to be pretty overstable and fight out of that angle, but it did not. Pushes too straight and it winds up in the woods.
I saw something.
I saw something right here.
Yeah, dude.
Matt just laying up for the par.
Yeah, good.
How does it feel letting an LSU fan touch your around?
Yeah, Parker giving it a long bid.
His response was positive, I'll say that. He's used to it as he's a big New Orleans fan himself. Loves the area. Has a lot of family there, I think, too. And this is a tricky situation for Freeman to try to get up and down for par, but does it well.
Yeah, you have that ditch over to the right that if he pushes it a little too long can find the out of bounds. Matt with the old man sunglass look.
I would say he had a very stylish shirt for this round and the previous round, as again, the first 2 rounds were played on the same day. So we see some par tap-ins here. Was a bogey, though, for Kiefer, as his tee shot was OB, so he does lose another stroke to Matt there. It's now a 4-stroke lead for MattyO.
Now let's take a break from the action to shout out one of our sponsors, A.J. Roofing and Construction Services, a local roofing contractor. A.J. can get you the roof you want, shingle or metal, while exceeding building codes. Check them out for a free inspection. All right, and that moves us into hole 16. One of the easier holes on the back 9 at only 306 feet. Most players are probably going to be throwing a forehand out to the left as there's a larger gap, but you can throw backhands either straight at it or a slight hyzer play.
Yeah, this does play slightly uphill, so maybe a touch longer than the 306, but not by much, and as you said, very attainable.
Matt giving it a decent bid for the ace runs. Kind of skips off to the right. Should be within the circle.
Yeah, it was kind of deceiving. We thought it pushed really deep, but it wound up being a pretty good shot, as Parker pulls this one really wide, but has this ability to fight back.
Yeah, able to miss all those limbs on the left side.
And again, this is a gator from Freeman, just kind of flexing that forehand power, being able to throw a mid on this hole. It does, to his credit.
That's crazy the mid-range got the skip like that.
And so this is a pure out of Kiefer just trying to go kind of more straight at it with a putter.
Trying to throw the pure line.
I see what you did there. That was a great shot.
I threw it once bad and hit the tree on, what was that, 8?
Yes. Actually, yes, he's correct. Oh no.
Parker gets an unfortunate roll after that missed putt.
Freeman able to find the birdie there.
Stay in there. Ah.
Good he's able to joke about the lackluster round he's having. Unfortunate putting woes.
If you don't laugh, you'll cry, you know?
Parker with a bit of a tester here, but able to connect. Crazy that he got around the tree like that.
He's had a couple of missed opportunities to score, but he's definitely always been able to clean up afterwards, so it's kind of maintain his position. MattyO grabs another bird there. Maintaining that 4-stroke lead here if Kiefer can connect. Yep, no problem.
All right, we move on to hole 17. It's a par 4, 600 feet, OB all along the left side. You're really trying to put one out there and play, maybe mash on it a little bit to get it down into this area of the fairway. Throwing into a tight green with a guarded live oak, it can be pretty tricky getting into the green here.
Yeah, and MattyO playing this more conservative, just playing the forehand, just to make sure he stays away from that OB left. It still sets up a chance for a forehand up shot for the birdie, but guarantees himself to get a par.
Yeah, it's a pretty veteran move there, not having to flirt with the out of bounds at all.
Yeah, it's been kind of his play on this hole for the last few years. But Freeman's looking to attack here.
I'm sure it's pretty enticing for these guys who have the distance to possibly give themselves a long look.
Yep, that's a smash.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, that bridge is probably close to 400 feet, so he pushed another 100 past that. Slightly downhill, but still a mash.
Yeah, still very close to that 500 feet of power. As this is Kiefer throwing his orbit drive. Trying to do a similar play.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go, boys.
Man, nothing wrong with that. I guess the one issue you could face is if you overturn the backhand to the woods right, but his definitely fought out in time, so he's fine.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get it over that far right. The line he took anyway.
Oh, that's
I
so
mean,
far
everything
deep.
went into that.
He had his whole body in
Hey,
that.
I thought it was deep in there.
That's a very far forehand for sure.
Pretty big.
So Matt with a similar shot into the green as he threw off the tee.
Yep, he goes off tee, using that overstability to get the skip, and whew, scares the eagle there for a second.
Pushes behind that tree. Hopefully he still has a look at the basket. It is a pretty large trunk. The rest of these guys should have pretty routine up shots, 150 feet into the green at most.
Yeah, no problem for these guys for sure. They start to have a little bit of a gallery build up at this point because other people are starting to wrap up their rounds. So we had some people kind of watching the lead card finish off the day.
So we can't see Matt, but he's behind the tree.
He's very camouflaged right now.
But what you can see is his putter going into the basket.
I can't believe he stepped over like that. I was like, man, why don't you just walk around? It's like a more direct route. I was like, I can't argue with you, I guess.
I want to show off those
long
that
legs,
flexibility, acrobatic skills, and whatnot.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's literally. Hey, look at us in our pink.
That's a pretty good star frame. For
Oh,
this
yeah, absolutely.
card. Normally you'll see at least one shot filter out of bounds, either on the up shot or the tee shot.
It's definitely easy to skip deep on this hole on the approach, no doubt about it, as we get to hole 18.
Yeah, hole 18, arguably the hardest hole in the course, 366 feet. You're throwing the shot out of the gap. Most guys would probably try to place it out here, but you have an island green that definitely is pretty fast. You got skips that'll happen either forehand or backhand approaching.
AKA layup and take your three. I mean, that's really the name of the game on this hole, unless you really have to push it like final round or something like that. But in this case, it's round 2.
All right, this is definitely a great finishing hole if you got guys battling it out. But as you said, it's only round 2. Nothing to risk here.
Yeah, it's very hard to make this island. Even if you were to connect it off the tee, it's very likely you would skip off of it. So it's almost like you have to skip before the ditch and then hope you skip onto the island to make it over the ditch.
Not too much now. Dang, I thought that was good.
So throwing a flex forehand, it should be pretty good.
It is fine, yeah. I think that was probably like a gator or some other type of overstable mid.
Kevin going right of the tree. Wants it to get a little left and maybe get closer to the green, but that should be fine right there. He's under some live oak limbs, but should be able to find a gap.
Sometimes people actually just try to bounce it off the fence. You can't really see it, but there's like a fence that leads to the tennis court area on the right-hand side. Yeah, just hyzering the right side of the tree is a good play.
Parker going pretty fast here. He might be trying to attack. That was an FX2 from him. But I think he found the OB. We got Matt here with the Warden.
Yep.
Perfect. Exactly the way you want to end your round here on this course.
And it's tough to see here, but there's a bush blocking the basket, and Joel throws into the bush, so he should have just a tap in.
Yeah, and then Parker did just barely go OB deep, I think, and so he's having to putt from this side.
Doesn't quite give it a bid. It's hard to get the distance from there and not, fall into the creek.
Kiefer trying to give that like a slight bid, but settles down, gives us 3, and again, that's all you really want on this hole.
Right. I do typically try to play it over on that right side, but you have to really push it long to have a putt. There are some limbs that get in the way.
You know, it was funny, Kiefer was like kind of a little bit freaked out having to put over this, but I was like, I got faith in you. He's like, you trust me? I was like, yeah, of course, man. You got that. And he winds up grabbing this par, no problem. So again, Kiefer, just great to have him on the card. Such a nice dude. Of course. Roll Tide, first down, whatever it takes. Saban, shout out, sure, at some point.
Parker with the long bogey there. The rest of the guys taking a pretty easy par. And that'll wrap us up here.
Indeed, that'll wrap us up for our second round. The first day of this tournament. As you can see, MattyO able to put himself in first place by 4 strokes heading into the final round with a card that we'll see here shortly. Again, a big shout out to all of our sponsors who helped make this coverage possible. You see there at the bottom of the screen. And yeah, I'm Dustin Mouret. With me was JC Rohe. We'll see you here shortly for the final round.